Hello, I'm Jantien Powell. This is Chapel Cottage Studio. We're going to be doing a preparatory drawing today, ready for a canvas of this lovely cow's head. I just want to share with you a little tip when I'm drawing things out. If I know that the drawing has to be precise and it isn't something that I can quickly sketch, then I always cut a piece of paper that's the same size as my canvas. Just tape it onto the canvas, and then I can do my drawing on the paper initially. I can make all my mistakes on the paper and do all the rubbing out and make that as dirty and horrible as I want. Then I can transfer it to my canvas, which I shall show you how to do afterwards. So I'm going to begin by drawing out this little cow. Oops. I use one of these propelling pencils. I find them really nice. For a start, you don't have to sharpen them, which is wonderful. One of our tutors actually suggested that I use this pencil, and it's really been a favourite ever since. Well, let's get everything in the right place here. There's a big brow bone here that has to go in, has to be correct. Then the cow's eye underneath it. Look how the eye slopes in almost at 45 degrees. If you're tempted to draw a big eye coming out, it's not going to work. Then a bit of a cheekbone, as it were, underneath it. Coming down to this side, do the poll at the top. And up and around the ear. And if you watched the last video on composition, then you can see that I have chosen to have this half of the cow leaving the paper, this half with a gap, so that we've got a nice composition. Let's put in the nose down here. Oh, that's a little bit narrow. They have enormous noses. And it's very tempting when you're drawing these cows to make the noses far too small. If I look at an ear, it's about the same size as the nose. So whichever one you do first, make sure you get it right and you measure the other one from it. There we are, so I've got it drawn out, put a bit of a chin in there. Notice that it only has one eye. This half of the cow is completely in shadow. And although it's very tempting to put in an eye because you know it's there, it's much better if you can stop yourself doing it, because that little hint of mystery is much nicer. Okay, then we've got the side of the cow, and it doesn't come out as far as the edge of the paper, comes out to there. Look where this side of the cow comes out of the head, down here across to the edge. So I'm always looking, I'm measuring down here where things leave the paper. I'm measuring along this line where this comes out, and along this line where this comes out, all the way through it. It's like putting together a jigsaw. That's too long. It's like putting together a jigsaw. And if one part of it doesn't want to fit, you know that you've got something else wrong somewhere. Oh, this blaze down the front here goes very nicely over the top of the brow bone, which brings up that shape on the eye. You can draw it really roughly. You don't have to get everything to the millimetre. But we do want to know that those rough lines are in the right place. Right, let's have a look. I'm not doing any shading or anything. All I want is to know where things are, get my spaces right. So I'm going to stand back a second and have a look. I'm going to put this white shape in down here because this changes it a little bit. But I think I'm going to alter that white shape. On here, it goes right under the chin, and I think that's going to mess up the look of the chin, so I'm going to change it. This is, again, the lovely thing about painting. The cow doesn't have to look like that. You can change it. And I'm going to change that shape just a little bit so it comes outside the nose. Take that white shape down there. Stand back. Always stand back. Looks different from back there. Yep, that's okay. That'll do for my drawing. Now, having done this, what we want to do is transfer it to the canvas. I'm going to want a background colour on the canvas. So I'm going to paint a background colour, and while that's painting, I'm going to get Tiz to photocopy this for me. Keep it the same size, but photocopy it, because I want it to be on thin paper in order to transfer it. So I'll put this to one side and we'll paint our background. My background I had decided on was an orange, and I'm going to use cadmium yellow, nice lot of paint, and a bit of permanent rose, Galleria, cadmium yellow and permanent rose. They make a lovely, lovely orange. You need a surprising amount of yellow and not an awful lot of rose. I'm going to put a bit more yellow in. That's nice, not too dark, a nice orange. So let's get my background slathered on here. Don't worry about making it perfectly even. I'd actually prefer to see paints that have a bit of movement in them rather than dead plain. Whoops. And do remember, if you're doing a background all over and you want to transfer a drawing, you must first put the background on. Otherwise you're going to draw all over your drawing again, which wouldn't be ideal. I've used all that paint. It uses quite a lot, but I do like nice thick paint. Put that down there. Spread it around a little. So there's my bright orange background that's going to complement my blues of the cow. Here's my photocopy of the cow. Now, this is nice thin photocopy paper now that we're going to be able to use to transfer. And on the back of this, I'm going to spray some transfer spray. This is by a company that I believe is called Giant with a H. Transfer spray. And you simply give it a shake, spray it onto the back, give it just a second to dry, and you've got, it's carbon, it's pencil. So once it's sprayed onto here, we let it evaporate just a second, and then we can put our photocopy on here, make sure it's in the right place, use the sharp pencil and push it through onto the paper. Much, much easier than doing all that tracing paper malarkey. Dead simple. But I always photocopy it because I find that the paper that I draw it on isn't thin enough. It won't push through. So I'm going to go over all the lines. Make sure I've got everything. Put those nostrils in. They really are very basic outlines, but it's all I need. Nearly round. The only tricky bit is remembering which bits you've already done. You don't have to get the edges of the shapes really smooth. You're just putting on enough so that when you paint, you know where everything is. I think that might be everything. Let's have a sneaky peek. There we are, that's lovely. Really, really easy way to transfer your drawings, and any bits that haven't quite taken, you can just go back over with your pencil, pop them back in, but we've definitely got plenty there. It's a really good tip, wonderful stuff to use. There are lots of different ways of doing things, but I find this transfer spray is the very best. I was told about it by a guy called Trevor Osborne, who is one of our tutors here at Chapel Cottage Studio, and I've used it ever since. I used to do the whole tracing paper and then pencil over the back and then turn it over and push it through, but this is quick and easy, and it's your own pictures. You're just cutting out all that work in the middle and getting it ready on your canvas, and there are no rubbings out or nasty grey bits on it. Clean canvas, clean picture. Thank you very much.